Hello.
You scared me.
I'm sorry. Sorry about that. My microphone. Can you hear me all right?
I can. You sound pretty good.
Okay, because it's not the microphone. I think that is kicked the bucket.
Oh,
Yeah, it's Louis. Oh, darn. It's my son's microphone and it was used when he got it. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully this is not going to be an annoying recording for sound.
not bad from what I hear.
Good. Okay.
So,
So,
hi, T.
hi, yes.
I have a cat bumping into me.
And I think I have closed the door in time after my little Phoebe left.
Okay.
She was so curious as to what I'm doing in here.
They're all so nosy.
They really are. Makes it very difficult.
So, you know what we're doing today, right?
I do.
We're going to talk about how we ended up doing podcasts.
Yes, thanks to you, S.
I know. I just am so amazed that it's this easy to do. Never
Yes.
thought we would be doing. Never thought I would be doing anything like this.
This was totally your baby, and it's thanks to Buzzsprout, super easy. Well, my end is. Your part is to me, a lot more complicated, but I'm sure we'll find out.
It's not too bad. So why don't we talk about when we discovered podcasts, other people's podcasts? What were the first podcasts that we listened to?
That's a great idea. And you were actually listening to podcasts before me. You seem to be doing things ahead of me. You were into audiobooks before me, and then I started getting into them. And at the time that you started listening to podcasts, I was still listening to audiobooks. So, yes. And when we were listening to audiobooks, hold on a second. I'm so sorry. I'm trying to lock this door and I can't find anything that fits in this. Well, sorry. I think
Put your sofa in front of it.
Oh, no, I can't do that. I'm just looking for something little enough because we have a latch on the top of it and because it's an old house. So the door locks, the latches don't work so great. So I like to use the little top latch, but we don't. Anyways, totally off topic. So yeah, I was listening to audiobooks on the Audible app mostly. And with that, you get a credit a month. And I had to wait, I think, for one of my credits. And you had been listening to podcasts, which I'll let you talk about what your favorite podcast is, because at the time I thought, well, I'm into the happily ever after, so that's not interesting to me.
Yeah, we do have different tastes about things. Although you're coming around to my point of view about
I am.
What's fun to listen to.
Yes.
I discovered podcasts when Radau did her first one called Bagman about the Nixon era. It was deep dive into history, which is why I love her. She does deep dives into everything. But then I found that you could listen to true crime stories, and there are a lot of people out there doing podcasts on true crime, not crew crime. And I got really into it when I was tiling the sunroom floor. And when I'm doing something physical, I need to listen to something interesting. So I'm a podcast listener at that time.
Yeah.
So my favorite podcast became Crime Weekly with Stephanie Harlow and Derek Levasseur.
Yes, but do you remember, because I remember I like listening to podcasts and audiobooks while I'm driving. I just love those two together. But do you remember it was a couple years ago and I think you had found the Stephanie Harlow before she was like Halloween. She was doing these weird stories and you had said that I would like her. She used to do makeup and then she went into this crime. And of course, when I hear crime at the time, I was like, eek, no, thank you. and you had suggested some of the scary stories, the supernatural things for me to listen to from her.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
She still does her own podcast separate from the Crime Weekly. And I enjoy those too. Still.
Yes. Yes.
I like her because she does deep dives. Occasionally her grammar's a little bit funny and I cringe, but most people in podcasting tend to make an occasional grammatical error.
Oh, that would
But
be neat.
she's smart. She's thorough. She works hard. She presents really good stories.
She does. I love her. Thanks to you. But yes. So yeah, so that was my introduction to podcasting. And that was through you. Only I did not go through the crime right away. I went to podcasts, but, and this could be embarrassing, I'm not sure. It was Crisley Knows Best and, oh, what was the other one? Coffee, no, Southern Tea. And these are, it was the daughter of Crisley, because Crisley was having some issues in the court system and with his family. And, I'd like to hear both sides of the story. So I started listening to his daughter, which at the time they were having issues. And now that I don't think they are anymore, I'm also not as interested in those podcasts because you have to wait until the next podcast comes out. And as I was getting hooked on podcasts, I decided to listen to Stephanie or Crime Weekly with Stephanie and Derek. And I think the first one that I just totally obsessed on was Casey Anthony.
Oh,
gee.
you're driving me crazy with Casey Anthony.
Yes, I was, it starts out, because she gives this great story, and it was like on a dark, cold evening in September rain or something like that. So she turns it into a story to begin with that kind of hooks you. And then Derek, he's the ex-cop detective that actually goes into it as unbiased, knowing as little as possible about it, and adds his information. Well, you're the one who told me all this. I'm telling you what you've already know. But anyways, yeah, when she started the Casey Anthony thing after about, because I think they had 5 out when I started it. So I was able to hear them back to back. And then while I was waiting on the next podcast, I started listening to the actual trial, which, that was ridiculous that I was so obsessed with that. But anyway, so thank you, S.
I can't remember the name of the YouTube channel that lets you watch full trials. I love that channel.
Oh, yeah.
But you, with Casey Anthony, we were talking every single night for, hour, 2 hours about this crime.
Yeah.
And I was amazed that you got so into it after all these years of rejecting crime stories and not wanting to know anything about them.
Especially when kids are involved. I can now listen to these terrible things. Before I refused to because it hurt physically. But I think I have desensitized myself a little bit that I can, and I actually, I can't say I enjoy them, but I do like to hear that the person, was caught, that the person died. So, that terrible things happen to them.
When the bad guy gets caught.
Yes. Not the, yeah.
But you tickled me because you liked Crime Weekly so much and you were obsessing about Casey Anthony so much that I got you a Crime Weekly t-shirt for Christmas.
Yes, you did. And I love it, which at the time, because you gave it to me before Christmas, and I think, I loved it. And yeah, the Casey Anthony thing was absolutely ridiculous. I actually used my Audible credits on 2 books, and one was from the Diaz guy and one was from the prosecutor. So yeah, I'm so glad that part of my, Thank you.
New topics now.
Thank you, Crime Weekly, for taking up that much of my life. Okay.
Yeah. What's funny though is that when you do listen to someone regularly,
yes,
you start to trust them. And I think I bought 3 things because of watching that one podcast. I started using a body wash recommended and I love it.
Mhm.
I started,
You gave
I
some
bought
to,
some ear pods.
yeah,
And what the other one was, I got you and your daughter
yeah.
safety beads on bracelets.
Which I had no idea what in the heck that thing was when you gave it to me. So thank you.
Not the most attractive.
Well,
If you're
it's,
ever in a car, you take the bracelet off and you use it like a finger slingshot and pull it back and the bead breaks the window.
I think that is really cool. And it was perfect for Sydney. Oh, gosh darn it. Anyways, it was perfect for my daughter because she wore, several bracelets and she's not like a gold or silver person. So beads and leather, and that was just perfect.
Yeah, I want her to wear it and I want you to wear yours.
Yes.
Frankly, I think it was recommended on Crime Weekly and I trusted them. I bought it and I don't have any kind of adoration of celebrities or know anything about celebrities. And I know that some people trust their favorite celebrity, but I think podcasters have smaller audiences and are less, Hollywoodish. And
Oh, yeah.
I
Yeah.
get suckered into trusting them and buying whatever they recommend.
Oh, seriously. And I really think that they actually use these things themselves. I think that they don't recommend, or the good ones anyways. I don't think that they recommend products that they wouldn't put their names on them.
And nor will we, right?
This is correct. 100%. Oh my gosh.
So after listening to podcasts, I began to think about doing a podcast. I mean, not multiple podcasts, but a podcast episode.
Right.
At that time, I had started audio taping lectures back with H1N1, that virus. I taped my lectures for students who had to miss class because of illness. And then when COVID came, I was staying home. And so I could use a software program that's free. It's called Audacity. And you're just talking to a microphone and it audio tapes you. And you can go in easily and edit it by just highlighting a portion that you want to remove. You're seeing the audio output on the screen and you just highlight something and then you delete it. So you could even take out uhs and ums and words. So I was using that and setting up PowerPoint slides where each slide would have a little speaker icon. You click on it and you get the audio, what needs to be said about that particular PowerPoint slide. So I had a little head start, so it didn't seem like it was going to be difficult.
Right.
And I had worked on a book. I got a sabbatical, wrote about 150 pages of a book, and then got very nervous about whether it was a very good book. I'm not sure it is, but I decided I wanted to take a chapter from it and put it into a podcast. But it didn't seem like much fun to me to read to a microphone.
Right.
So then you and I were on a phone call that lasted, I don't know, 2.5 hours.
Yep.
You remember that night?
Oh, yes. I know exactly. Yeah. I remember the feeling that I had that night.
And it occurred to me that I would much rather do a podcast with you than do it alone. And it also occurred to me that there are people out there who are lonely. Like I had at the time, a Facebook friend that just kept saying she was lonely on her Facebook page. And I thought back to right after my divorce. I didn't have many friends. I didn't have much of a social support system yet.
Right.
And I'm an introvert. So what worked for me was just to watch a TV show where I got, into the characters. And so watching that TV show ended up making me feel less lonely. I felt that I had, social interactions, even though I hadn't.
Right.
And I thought that we could do a podcast that's, informative or test my book chapter, but also, let people just be part of a phone call.
Yes. Yes. Well, when you mentioned that to me, if I was interested in doing a podcast, I think I probably immediately broke out into a sweat. I think my throat constricted. I felt like I was going to vomit, I believe. But because, I may have said no, but I don't think so. In my
No,
brain, I
multiple
was
times.
yelling. Oh, did I really? Did it actually come
Yeah.
out? Okay. Yeah. Well, yeah. Yeah, that's it. And then I thought, because you're very you don't, I don't want to say you don't give up, but yeah, you know, I didn't want to talk about it anymore because I was like horrified at the thought of being on a podcast.
I didn't pester you. I brought it up a couple more times.
Right. And this is my nature to say, okay, hoping it'll never happen.
Right.
And that night, that's, I think, what I ended up doing. But I thought, well, I can't do that. Wow. Well, I'm not, I have to get rid of this feeling. So, no, okay, let's not talk about this anymore. Anyway, so yeah. And then,
I basically told you it's just, you don't have to prep,
yeah,
and no preparation required from you.
right.
And that it's just like talking on the phone, which it is.
It really is. So yeah, I was nervous, as you were coming closer to your first podcast. But you know what? What was good, in my opinion, was this was about your book. So it was all I needed to do was listen, and I can't stop talking. So I don't think I could ever be quiet because I have these thoughts, when you say something, it's like, oh, but what if, and that kind of thing. So this is actually really, really fun.
I know. I think it is too.
Mhm.
And that podcast was the first one, People and Their Pets.
Yep.
Was the chapter of my book all about the characteristics of people who have dogs versus the characteristics of people who have cats versus people who have exotic animals. And it was relevant to both of us because both of us are real animal people with lots of critters strolling around our houses.
Oh, yes.
So it was a conversation.
Yeah, it was good.
And it turned out, trying to figure out how to do it, it turned out that we could just have Zoom conversations. And when you're setting up a Zoom, go into options and then record it to the cloud. And then after your Zoom meeting's over, you get the recording in your email.
Mhm.
And then I was using Audacity already, and it's free.
Right.
So you save that audio from your computer and then import it into Audacity. Do a
Right.
little bit of an edit. I took out ums and all sorts of little strange noises that you and I have in our houses.
Oh, yeah.
Pestery animal sounds.
I don't know if it was coming through on the recording, but I had a cat trying to open the door in this room, by pulling on it. So if you hear thumps when you're going through here to edit, you probably can edit it out. It's the cat trying to get into the room.
I can do that. And I remember the first time you got into a Zoom meeting to do a podcast with me, you told me you were eating crackers. So
yeah.
It's like typical Tanya.
Oh, well, what's so funny is I just picked up my little bag and it has my bag of mints in it. And I was very slowly opening it up to get some mints because I was going to eat some. So there, got them.
Well, I can edit it out. It's not a problem.
I love it. Yep.
And that was part of our conversation too, that we're not going to be professional and we're not going to be perfect.
Oh, not at all.
And so we're going to be anonymous.
And I like yes, I'm not going to even try to say the word anonymity. See, I can't. Anonymity. There we go. Yeah, I like that part of it at this point because, I didn't like the sound of my voice before we started this, and I definitely don't want to see myself on video. And actually, sometimes we talk about things that I don't necessarily want the people closest to me to know, and they don't know, I don't think.
I know. Only the Living with the Irish Wolfhound podcast. I posted that on my Facebook, but I did not say that I'm doing more than one of these. Right. And we're now on our fifth, right? And that was when I posted things to YouTube the first time. But I don't let people I work with know that I'm doing this. Yeah. I don't want people who, other than my closest folks, I don't want people who know me to know I'm doing this. I don't mind strangers listening to us.
I love strangers.
I know. I like strangers. I don't want.
Yeah, I think the judgy, and it's not that our close friends or our loved ones are judgy. They're not, because like my husband heard this and he he totally supports it, my oldest daughter, so that it's just, yeah, my Facebook friends, for some reason, I just visualize this going out and people rolling their eyes or, like, oh gosh, but
I know, at our ages. I mean, it's not as if we're in our 20s.
I know,
This is a juvenile thing to do in some ways, maybe.
from what I gather, I don't see a lot of the in like the 20-year-olds, and they're so bold and so confident, which is a wonderful thing. I think this goes back to our generations. Do you hear Phoebe? Hush.
I do.
So yeah, so this is a new experience and I really like the podcasting. And you know what, when we talk on the phone, a lot of times the connection is bad and it's annoying, but it's never bad on this. I don't know the difference.
Well, there you go. And the first podcast we did was so frustrating because I wanted to do it sitting on my bed comfortably with my iPad.
Mhm.
And so, I'm sitting on my bed, I'm surrounded by journal articles. I have all these notes about what we're going to talk about when in this deep dive into characteristics of pet owners. And we had to do it 3 times. It was awful because I tried it with an iPad. I tried it with a new microphone for my iPad, and none of that worked. I have to sit at my computer in front of a microphone to do this. But you were so sweet about doing it 3 times.
Well, that first time, I think, wasn't that almost a 2-hour chat? So we did actually do the podcasts 3 times. So that's like what, probably at least 4 or 5 hours worth of talking, well, the last one doesn't count because that actually recorded, but that first time where it didn't even record for that long, oh my goodness.
Well,
or was it something else with the first one? I'm sorry, I'm going to have to tell Phoebe to stop.
I don't mind Phoebe's voice. That's nice. I told you we don't have to be perfect.
Why she's barking.
And I refuse to try to be professional. It makes it.
Okay, good. And now she's stopped. Good.
So, but it turned out that was frustrating, but that was my fault with not wanting to sit at my desk and talk into a microphone. But it's easy, really, because Buzzsprout. I did a little YouTube search and found out that Buzzsprout is a great platform for doing podcasts, and it's compatible with Audacity. All you do is you import your do the editing on Audacity, save it, and import it into Buzzsprout. And Buzzsprout is fantastic. You can do thumbnail pictures. You can look at the stats. I love the stats because it lists every town, every listener was, listened from.
That's fun, yes.
And we seem to have a little bit of a following in Germany.
Yes.
Nowhere else in this world, but Germany seems to like us.
I know it. Yeah. What I like about the Buzzsprout app, or not app, the Buzzsprout platform, I guess, is the amount of resources that they offer. I mean, they offer training, anything that you're questioning that involves being, doing a podcast, whether it's the thumbnails or the audio or, the recording platform, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, they have step-by-step instructions or videos on YouTube that, just click a link, it tells you what you're questioning. I love that.
Yeah. And it's fantastic because you put in your podcast, but they make it available to all the different apps that people use to listen to podcasts.
Yeah.
So it's automatically out there on Amazon Music, and it's on Spotify and Reacher or whatever that is. It's out there on all those platforms, and I didn't have to do anything.
Well, did you, because you set all this up, so did you actually select which platforms you wanted to put it on, or did they give you that option to?
They listed them all and I chose them.
There you go. So you can choose, if you don't want to set, put it on this platform, you can just uncheck it, right? Or check it.
Yep. I did think about removing us from Spotify because people were boycotting it, but I didn't do it.
Oh, were they? See, I didn't even know. You keep me up on these things.
Yeah, let's not go there. We don't want to go off into a political tangent.
Oh, no.
Somebody was,
Oh,
making racist remarks, and people were complaining about Spotify presenting that information on their platform. I watched it a while and didn't do anything.
yeah. No, I did not hear about that, and my brain is totally full of political information because of the Russia-Ukraine.
I know you're impressing me with your knowledge of details regarding the Ukraine situation.
Oh,
That's another podcast.
yes, it is.
You promise?
Oh, yeah, yeah, yes.
Okay. So back to how to do a podcast.
Right.
So we use Zoom. We
Mhm.
record it to the cloud. We get an email with that Zoom file. We import it into Audacity. We play around with it and edit it a little bit. And then we import it into Buzzsprout.
Yep.
And I always, in the Audacity, I add our little preliminary music that we use, and easy peasy. It's
Oh,
pretty fast.
I
We
mean,
had to, yeah.
nothing against Audacity because it's doing, I mean, it's amazing based on your, how you do everything on it, but I am lost in Audacity and I prefer, which I don't do the editing or all, you've just described everything you do. Yeah, I would use GarageBand. I love GarageBand. It just is so easy to navigate, in my opinion. And in fact, when so the music, you talk about the music because I actually did my part of it using GarageBand.
So did I.
Oh, that's right. You did do it with a
I
garage.
did do it on GarageBand.
Yes.
Shout out to my friend Sally, who turned me on to GarageBand, and I had no idea why it would ever be useful to me. But I sat for, I don't know, half an hour or so just playing the piano on GarageBand, and this tune appeared.
No, I told you about GarageBand, I thought. No?
Nope. Originally it was Sally,
Oh,
and
okay.
I'm not saying her last name, so she's anonymous.
Right.
And found that little tune, and it records while you're playing.
Yep.
You're the one who told me how to jazz it up so that it's like multiple notes each time you play the note.
Oh, yeah, with that little knob. Yep.
Yeah. And I thought it was done. I sent it to you. You kept, for an hour, you kept telling me about it would sound much better if it had the volume change in the middle of it. And I'm going, yeah, okay.
Fade
And
out.
you
Yeah.
did it, and it was perfect. Perfect.
Hey, good.
I
Good.
love our music. Sometimes I'll listen to our podcast. I don't want to hear us talk, but I like to listen to the music.
Yeah, it's pretty good. You just, yep. I do like it a lot. I mean, I didn't, I don't know, because it's a little off, it seems, but it works and I love it. And, the way it does do the little fade in, fade out, it leads up to it. Nice.
The fade out part is what made it sound perfect. I love my ping at the end.
Yeah, I do too, actually.
I want our podcast to have a little ping in them, things that you don't expect.
Right. No, it's great. Yeah. So I was playing around in GarageBand with the music, and it just was so overwhelming because they have so many different, they have so many different instruments to play with. And then with each instrument, you have so many different options to, it just was so overwhelming. I ended up doing nothing with, but I'm so glad because you found the perfect little tune. Not didn't find it, but you created the perfect little tune.
But it would have been really disappointing, not as good without the volume change that you did. And all that playing around with GarageBand that you did made it so you knew how to perfect this little jingle that I did.
It's so fun. But yes,
I'm very proud of our music. But the reason we had to do it that way, or the reason I wanted to do it that way, is because I didn't want to run into any copyright problems.
Yep, that was very smart. Yep.
Yeah, and apparently you can go online and get little free music jingles, but that wouldn't necessarily be unique, or it wouldn't be something that sounds like us. And oddly enough, I think that we are personified by our music.
There you go. I like that. Definitely.
Because we're kind of strange.
Yep.
Now, we also had to do a thumbnail. We didn't have to, but we wanted to.
Right.
So I started with the first thumbnail and it sucked. It was terrible.
Well, you had
Our pictures, yeah.
Yeah, you had come up with the idea of, you know, you wanted a picture of us wearing masks with our puppies first. So
And
I sent you my picture, which I could not get my little hyper min pin rat terrier to take a good picture. So that was my problem there. My challenge was to get a picture with her not looking like she's, freaked out.
yeah, she is a cutie in the picture though.
Well, the picture that shows her face in the front of us, that is her just taking a picture where I was, snapping shots with me holding her. If you notice how awkward I am with her and how awkward she does not like to be picked up, for one. And she did not know what was going on when I was trying to hold her and take a selfie. Yeah, no, that was very difficult, and it made me sweat.
You did it though. I was so grateful I asked you for the picture and you actually sent me one.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I had our pictures side by side with a rainbow circle around us, and it was really just ridiculous. We had come up with the name T and S chats, so that T for you and S for me, because that's what our names start with. And
Right.
the word chats makes it sound like we're not going to be professional. I refuse.
Right. Yeah.
And so I stuck that label on it, and it was dreadful. And you completely redid the thumbnail. And I really like it. I really like what you did.
I like it too. I do. I like I don't know. I like kind of a little bit of balance for some, but that's not art. Art seems to be not as much, in my opinion. So her little circle rainbow thing was cool, but
Now,
that both of us have these backgrounds of our heads, and both of us have our masked face with our puppy next to us. So, and since Haney was so big and takes up so much, I love your picture. But because it seems like Haney is so much bigger and prominent in the pictures, I had to put Phoebe, and I had to put add an element to my picture of Phoebe in the front there just to balance it.
it works. And you used Canvas, right? Which I haven't learned to use yet.
Yeah, no, it was Canva, Canva, and they have a lot of free editing stuff. I don't know what to call it, but yeah, you can play around with it. And there's so much between this GarageBand and Canva, and I'm not sure about Audacity because, like I said, I can't make heads or tails of it myself. But it's really hard to stay focused on these things, because you start making all these, oh, let me remove the background. Oh, I wonder if I add this and that. And then you're not even doing what you started off doing. So yeah, Canva is one of those. And there's so many stock photos that you can choose from if you like to put different backgrounds and things. It's just amazing. Yep.
And it's user friendly for you.
Yes, very. Yeah.
I didn't even open up the app and try to do it. I remember the night we were working on it, and it was pretty fast. I mean, most people probably hire people to do these things.
Yeah, no, you do it.
No way.
Oh, here, what do you think about this? And I'm like, well,
you kept sending me messages with pictures and, do you like this? Do you like that? And
oh, yes,
it's fantastic. It was a great process.
Yes.
It took under about an hour and a half.
Yeah. And I think that what took the longest was getting the right color hue, or the whatever it was with the yellow. Remember that one? That was like, oh, how about this? And how about that?
Too much. I like our yellow.
I do too.
Yeah. And so, I like the font. You did the font really nicely.
So you'd pay attention to all that. I didn't even, until you say something, just like with my calligraphy, I don't see it until you say, oh, that's spaced too far apart. Well, I didn't even see it, but you're exactly right. So there you go. We make a good team.
We do, actually, with this, surprisingly enough.
I know.
We are thinking, sort of preliminary, because we don't really, I think all total across YouTube and Buzzsprout, we're almost at 200 views.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Very few of them come back and listen to us a second time, to be honest.
I
know.
We changed topics, so we appeal maybe to somebody that's interested in this, and then next time somebody's interested in that. So yeah.
Yeah, I think ultimately we want those people who just like to listen to chit chat about, just different things.
Oh yeah.
But I do think I'm considering retirement, hopefully sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
And there are ways to monetize your podcasts. I don't think we're there yet in terms of listeners,
Right.
but this podcast that we're doing is, it's probably first time that we could possibly make money, and we're not out here to make money right now, but I want to try it out because Buzzsprout provides the opportunity to have affiliates, and those affiliates are brands, and you select which one you trust and want to recommend, and you can then have a little tag thing that listeners can use if they want to purchase a product from that company. And then you get, as the podcaster, you get a little bit of money, and the person who makes the purchase gets a discount by using your podcast tag.
Right.
We're doing it now for Buzzsprout just because we love Buzzsprout. It makes things easy. I wouldn't even know how to start a podcast without them.
Oh, I know, right?
And right now, because I signed us up as an affiliate of Buzzsprout this morning, it means that if someone starts using Buzzsprout with our tag, and I'm going to let you figure out how to put it in the description box later, but then they get $20.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the second time that they, I guess, make a payment or something.
Okay. Oh, that's
and
neat.
We get $25.
Yeah, that's
I
nice.
don't know that that's going to happen, but I think this is a good first step because there's no requirement of how many viewers you have to have.
Right. Which is what I think that they do it to where, I don't know, because I know we've got a handful, well, maybe not a handful, but a few.
One or two.
We have a few options for being affiliate, to be affiliated with these other places and advertise, I guess. And, one of them, both of us know, but I don't think I feel comfortable. And a couple of the others I've never heard of. So Buzzsprout, we've got firsthand knowledge and experience playing around with it and actually creating a podcast. So I do feel 100% confident about promoting Buzzsprout.
That's how I felt. Buzzsprout is $16 a month, which I'm covering, right now this is a hobby, but I feel like I can recommend it because it's so easy to use.
Right.
And it's necessary for us because I don't think we could do this otherwise.
Right. And I'm just, the fact that they, this is like available for anybody who wants to listen to it. And there's actually people that we don't know listening to it. I think that's really cool.
I know, it's so weird.
Isn't it?
But with the Buzzsprout affiliates, they give you a list. Right now, Instacart's on there, and that would normally be a good one to trust, for us to trust and say other people should use it. But you bashed them in our second podcast.
Well, I experienced
gigs.
Yeah, no, I have experienced.
Lyft and Uber. You completely.
I didn't really blast them, but I don't like it.
Instacart as an affiliate now.
I wouldn't. I mean, have I had a delivery with Instacart?
I'm exaggerating.
Okay, yeah, no, I feel, oh no, I didn't do it too badly, did I? It's just as my experience on the other end of it, not receiving Instacart, but, driving or shopping. So, and it wasn't so bad. It was just not as easy as Buzzsprout. How about that?
Yeah, I could recommend Buzzsprout. I actually don't use Instacart because that's a shopper, because I just have my groceries delivered, but you drove for them. And your experience, while positive, was not 100% positive.
Right. No, I wouldn't,
we're going to be honest.
I wouldn't attach my name to them as far as, I'm not going to get into it here. I almost
But we're going to be completely honest. We're not going to, neither one of us are capable of promoting something unless we actually believe in it.
Right. No, I mean, I have the, if you don't have something good to say nothing at all kind of attitude
I know
sometimes.
you do.
But it's, you bring out the other side where, oh, I didn't mean to talk about it, but somehow or another, you just know how to pull it out of me.
Well, that's fine. So another way to make money with Buzzsprout, they provide all of these options for you, is to have sponsors. First, you register on Podcorn. They make it very easy. You click on the word monetization and you're right there. And then they have this list of products or companies and even other podcasts where people want to make a deal with your viewership is high enough. They'll pay you to talk about their product or to embed this little audio tape that they have, an audio file. Or it may be another podcaster is willing to advertise you if you advertise them. So you're making your own deals with these companies or these individuals.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Now, this is from Forbes magazine, August 6, 2021. Quote, these services put ads in your show and pay per 1,000 impressions of the ad. Additionally, they take a cut from your earnings, so ensure you read the platform fine print to see how much they take.
Right.
Depending on the size of your audience, you can make anywhere from a few hundred to tens of thousands by joining an ad network.
Well, that is, my 12-year-old son used to tell me, and this was a couple of years ago, he's probably 9 or 10 at the time. And, I think it's my age or something because I lost touch probably in about 2000 something, maybe 2010 and up, where, all these new social media things came out, the YouTube videos got really popular and followers. And my son was telling me, he had the breakdown of it for every, was it 1,000 followers, you get X amount of dollars. And, little kids are actually doing videos reviewing like toys, and the companies that make the toys actually, or even others, send them more toys. And it's like, wow, this is I thought my son was telling me something that was something fake news, kind of like, that he heard something and is believing something that's not true. But no, he was right. And that just drives me crazy because I need to refresh everything. So I'm on top of things now.
Yeah.
I'm skeptical all the time about things like that,
You and I don't have money making as the highest priority, although
Right.
we should.
Yeah.
More than we do. But we may end up having a little supplementary incomes this way, or we might not. I don't know.
And it's too fun to, if I end up having like 3 jobs to make ends meet, I probably won't have as much fun time to do this, but I would still do it.
Well, at this point, we're saying we'll do it once a month. I think the folks who are really more serious about it and who are prioritizing monetization, they do it at least once a week.
Yeah,
We're not there. We're not
No.
there yet. I don't have the time. I work.
Yeah. No, everything.
There are other ways to make money with a podcast.
Yeah.
Another way is called, well, you're using something called Patreon.
Oh, yeah.
And this lets viewers make donations to you. I don't know if I'm comfortable with that.
Yeah, that's just, that to me right now at this point is kind of weird. So yeah.
I don't know. But it does make some sense, because if someone is really a follower, then they will donate to your Patreon account, and you can give them perks like being able to see podcasts early.
Right.
Everybody else has to wait till Wednesday, they get it on Monday.
Mhm.
Or they can not have to watch any ads during the podcast. Or some people do this. They have live chats just for their Patreon donors.
Wow, that would just give me nerve. I would just be so anxious if I knew that people were listening to us live. Oh my goodness. Well, I don't know.
Have you ever watched a live podcast?
No, I don't think I have. Maybe that's why.
I've seen them on Crime Weekly where they're just chatting, but people's questions and comments come up in a chat room. And so you read the screen.
Oh, okay.
Podcaster reads the screen with questions and comments. Enjoy watching that. I don't know if I want to do it, but I enjoy watching it.
I would just be so focused on the comments that I wouldn't be able to talk. But I think I've seen recorded live chats. So I have seen where comments are coming up and the people are reading them as they are recording. So yeah,
Oh,
I have.
that's it for me. I've never been in a live chat. I've watched the tapes though.
Now I will say that, because I don't know, Patreon, you know more about this than I do, and your explanation about the donations and the perks and stuff like that is good. And I've heard this on several YouTube channels about, because it has something to do with YouTube. And I guess you told me about the commercials that are included with the YouTube recordings that I guess they put them in. But I don't have a problem at this point in my YouTube listening, podcast listening thing. I don't mind, bouncing ahead and, hearing what the commercial is about and then fast forward if I'm not interested. So that doesn't bother me right now. What bothers me is when you can't get past that darn commercial.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
where listening to this news, all this, these news live feeds, and when they have a commercial, I cannot pass them on these like YouTube live and things like that. It drives me nuts.
I get frustrated because I'll be comfortable maybe lying down to go to sleep, listening to a podcast, and then a commercial comes on. You have to sit up and lean over and push the button to skip the ad.
Oh yeah,
That just ruins the whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, and it doesn't. Some of them don't automatically finish. Well, maybe they do, and it just takes so long that I'm thinking that it will continue to give me ads until I skip it. Where it has skip ad. Yeah, it just drives me crazy. But I do like the option of being able to skip it. I hate when it doesn't give you that option and you can't fast forward or skip.
Yeah, I think that's obnoxious.
That drives me insane. And another thing, and this is not a vent, what the heck, or a rant, but I really don't like the way they throw ads in. I mean, they'll cut somebody off in the middle of a word of a sentence that, you're right there at the end where it was saying, who did it. And there's an ad. It's like,
I know.
Yeah.
Crime Weekly this week, I follow it regularly. They made a decision to cut out those ads that interrupt the show.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And what they're doing is I think they're having more affiliates, more companies that they give the ads, describe their use of the product themselves, which frankly, I enjoy listening to those kinds of ads as much as I enjoy the show. Right. I like listening to somebody talk about, their experience of a body wash.
Yeah. Yeah, I do too.
Ridiculous.
Actually. Yeah, it's crazy because I prefer that myself as much as I just don't like ads. But if it's something like, like the body wash or the hair, where what do? They ask you, they give you a quiz and they include where you're from because all of that matters. And I think that's interesting. And I like when it is given by the host of the podcast.
Someone where you really don't have any idea if it's true, but they say they use the product.
Yeah.
I believe them.
Yeah. Well, I know that if we are saying that we use the product, we're going to be using the product. One of us at least.
Yeah. And we have to both agree if we're going to have a sponsorship by a product.
Right.
If one of us has any doubts about it, we don't do it.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, no, they probably wouldn't allow that for an ad if like I liked something and you didn't. I wouldn't really appreciate you saying you didn't like it when I'm like all into it. Okay, never mind.
Yeah. Well, we could talk about the product and not monetize it and say what we want.
You know what? And I'm not, there's this YouTuber that I follow and his name's Peter Draws, or his channel is, and he does so many reviews on fountain pens and, he's an artist, but anyways, he had a fountain pen sent to him. It was like $600 or some crazy amount. And he didn't like it. And you know what? He said he didn't like it. And because it would skip So part of his review, after he unboxes it and looks at it and feels it and smells it, which is ridiculous, but it's funny. He uses it, and this darn pen was skipping, and he did everything he could to, he stopped and cleaned it out and tried again, and it just didn't work. And that was a $600 pen, and he actually said, no, I wouldn't spend $600, but
I can trust some of these people.
I know. I like him.
What I don't like also.
Yeah.
I like that. What I don't like, for a while, I never watched Dr. Phil back when it was on TV, and it may still be on TV, but I was watching some of his episodes on YouTube, and his commercials are pre-taped, the same words in exactly the same tone, multiple times, hearing the exact commercial. It's like it used to be on TV when you couldn't fast forward through a commercial.
Yeah.
It's annoying. It really is annoying.
Oh, yes, it is.
Not that we should, I mean, if you hear the Illuminati talk about Dr. Phil,
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
Wow.
I like the Illuminati.
Yes,
We'll talk about that in a minute.
Yeah.
Let's talk about one more way of making money with podcasting.
Okay.
This one's funny. You can buy merchandise, and it's called merch.
Mhm.
Podcasters call it, say, go see our merch.
Yeah, it took me a while.
Yeah, you want to say that someday?
That would be fun. And I would like to, oh gosh, yeah, I would love to make merch, or not. We don't make it probably, but design it or come up with ideas for it. I think that would be great.
Do you think anybody would like to
That I can't
have a
tell.
t-shirt with us on it?
No, you know what?
Dubious.
I have no idea. I doubt it, but it wouldn't matter, because it's just fun. Just to design it versus, hopefully. Yeah. Okay.
I actually have designed merch when I was volunteering at the Parrot Rescue.
Oh, yeah.
We'll talk about in a minute.
Mhm.
But I designed some mugs with birds on them and
Yeah.
the name and address of the facility. And that was fun. I think you probably got one for Christmas.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I ended up just really loving the mug I designed, and everybody I knew had to get one for Christmas.
Yep, that's it.
It was Merlin.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Merlin, my green-winged macaw, my naked green-winged macaw. He's lacking a few feathers.
Oh, remember, was it Buka's feathers? You gave me the earrings. I have it.
Oh, yeah.
I just don't want to mess them up. But yeah, Buka's feathers for earrings. Yeah.
Yep. So, yeah, maybe we'll have merch someday, but we'll end up giving it away, I'm pretty sure. And
Oh, yeah.
I think it would be fun to have you on a t-shirt.
Oh, yeah.
Here's
Well,
tea.
yeah. I know that would be so weird. I think we need, because both of us, and I'm, if you would give away your services, you would give away your stuff. We need a manager, or we need somebody who won't let us do that.
I know. That's the way it is with us.
Oh, well.
I wish we were a little more corporate America, but well, you never will be. I'm academic.
Yeah, and I'm just like nursing and
Yeah, you want to help people.
helping. Yeah, yeah. So there you go.
I want to teach people. You want to help people.
Oh, gosh. Ah,
Neither one of those things are necessarily money oriented enough.
no, they're not. Oh,
So here's another thing we did. I read this online. I ended up using a software system called Otter, Otter, and I think it's .ai. It's costing me $13 a month. I mean, this is a hobby. I used to throw pots that were well over $100 a week.
yeah.
I can't afford it, but I got addicted to
Yes.
pottery wheel. But
Mhm.
this is $13 a month. And what you do is you send them the audio file, the same one that you stuck into Buzzsprout. They email you back with a transcription. So word for word, everything's said on that podcast.
Wow.
And then you can put it on in the description box of your podcast. And the benefit of that to the podcaster is that anyone Googling certain keywords
Mhm.
will then bring up the podcast if it has those keywords in it.
Oh, that's cool.
So we did the one on living with an Irish wolfhound.
Mhm.
And so if someone Googles Irish Wolfhound, then our podcast comes up. Now I've done that, and I think it was like the 6th page that you had to scroll through, but
But
it was
still did
there.
it.
It
Yeah.
was definitely there.
I wonder
So
if it
yeah.
changes, like if somebody Googles like more words that are, in a sentence or something back to back, if that brings you up higher in the search results, I wonder.
Yeah. What is the algorithm?
Right, right. Huh.
I think my assumption, could be wrong, is that the algorithm is based upon the number of times it's viewed. Because when my real name, which I won't give here, but if
Yeah.
you Google me, you get a lot of my publications.
Right.
And the ones that have more interest in them are the ones that come up first. My
Oh,
more obscure publications that never had much readership
right.
come up later.
I see. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, I have heard that if you have a Google, like we have the Google the podcast is on Google, and I think Google owns YouTube. So I think that has something to do with the algorithm because it's their own, it's kind of like promoting their own. Yeah, I learned that with real estate as far as Google and
I
YouTube.
never think that way. I always think things are straightforward and honest.
Oh, no. And so, yeah, no, I just thought of that because we were just talking about algorithms. I'd never mentioned that before, but yeah, YouTube is owned by Google and they will promote their,
Their own stuff.
yeah.
I figure that the $13 a month that I'm paying
Yeah.
for Otter to do the transcriptions is not a bad thing, because
No.
I've been worrying about what to do when students have disabilities in my classes.
Mhm.
And so this means that I can transcribe things for them
Right.
and make it available to them online. Usually students, say with hearing problems, will have their own software.
Right.
But
Right.
this makes me more comfortable because I know I have the ability to do this.
Right.
So I sort of, $13 a month to give me a sense of relief.
Mm-hmm.
Not bad. Not bad at all.
That is good. That is.
So you did mention that we put our podcast on YouTube, which is
Which was
not
your
Buzzsprout.
idea. That was your idea. And I had not told you about this Google thing yet. And I had not thought about it. But yeah, you did yes, you did the YouTube thing. And when you mentioned it, I again was like, my breath, I was like holding my breath because that wasn't something new. And yeah, new. Ooh, scary.
It was easy to do. I mean,
You did it, yes.
you take the audio file that's on your computer now, thanks to Audacity and Buzzsprout, Zoom, Audacity, and Buzzsprout.
Mhm.
And then you have to add either a video or an image of some kind. So I invested in an app called Win Movie Maker. It had a one-time purchase fee of $40, but I'd been wanting it anyway. So
Yeah.
this was my good excuse for getting it.
There you
And
go.
it's easy to use. It's, user friendly. And so far, we're not using videos. We're just using our thumbnail picture.
Right.
Which,
yeah,
it works for me. And
works for me too.
basically, what you have to do, it's not immediately obvious. You import your audio file, same old audio file, into Movie Maker. And then that's one line horizontally across the screen. And then
Right.
another line is for your video that you can just paste into it.
Like a
And
track.
so
Right?
it's right above the audio file. So when this is being said, you have this image. And when this is being said, you have that image.
Right.
Ours is the same thumbprint file, and you can only paste in 5 seconds at a time. So I was getting frustrated there, but I found out that you can hit Shift Control D and then just, over and over and over and over. And then you get like, a minute's worth, and it's fast.
Right. I know you don't want to add more to your repertoire of technology, I guess, but iMovie, it's the same, what you're describing that I've not been on. What did you call it again? The
Movie
When
maker.
yeah, that is sounds the same as what iMovie offers on that comes with all the Apple products. Yeah,
And
iMovie.
is it free? Did I just blow
Yeah,
$40 for nothing?
it is, but I'm not sure if you could do it as well. You wouldn't be able to do it on your Windows, your computer. So it's
Yeah.
probably yeah, like your phone and your iPad or your computer, I think, but not Windows. So you did not waste your money.
Okay, good. I had been wanting it anyway. I tried to put together a video of something a while back and was searching for free movie makers and it didn't work.
Right. I mean, it's hard to do. It's just that's another thing that when I start doing this editing stuff, like with iMovie, and I'll have to send it to you so you can see it. I did a video of my son and grandson, which they're like a year and a half apart, and it was like 3 summers ago, but they were playing on a water slide, or the backyard where you've got that long plastic thing that goes out across your yard and it shoots water out so they can slide on it straight across.
I
So
think
anyways,
those things are fun.
I videotaped it in slow motion, which was really fun anyway. But then it was so tricky because I added the music about, because you can, the best friends, I just couldn't post it on like Facebook or anything because of the fact that it's not it's copyrighted. Yeah. But anyways, the Toy Story song. Yeah. So I say the Toy Story song, it was a song way before Toy Story. But anyways, yeah. So, but it's very hard to clip it right. You know what I mean? I mean, they do offer, and I don't know if the Wind movie does, but they do offer, a little bit of matching the photos up to the speed of the song or something like that. But anyway,
Well,
I'm
this
sorry.
lets you put in a videotape exactly where you want it in the movie. And it lets you remove parts of a video, but I haven't done that.
Oh, that's cool. That sounds good. But yeah, no, I'm not.
Because I've always had an easy time editing an audio track
Uh-huh.
because Audacity is so simple and easy to use for me. But
Right.
I've never until now been able to edit a video.
It's very hard. I really,
Now you can.
these editors, the podcasts that usually have like somebody else editing and it takes a while. I see why. Or even movies or, anything. It's like editing is not easy. I don't think so anyway.
So, but once I finish, and I can do it quickly now with the movie maker, combining the audio and an image,
Right.
then I can pop that up to YouTube, which I've known how to do for years.
Huh.
I had a YouTube channel because I was volunteering at exotic bird rescue.
Oh
And
yeah.
so I was going every night
Yeah.
and training the birds. There were about 100, including the cockatiels, there were about 100 birds in there,
Oh
many of
gosh.
whom had not been socialized for years. But I was doing training and holding my cell phone with one hand while I worked with the bird with the other hand and videotaped it and then posted it up on YouTube.
Is that channel still available and open and people can look
Yeah.
at it? Oh, that's
Yeah.
cool. You should link that. So if anybody's interested in exotic parrots, they
I don't know
can.
if it has my name on it, but it's called Bromley and Sue, all one word, BROMLEYANDSU. And I just gave away my name.
Oh,
Sure, we're going to be anonymous.
that's so hard.
Yeah, but that was a situation because before that, I did not know how to upload or post anything to YouTube. And I ended up with thousands of videos.
Well, how did you learn? What did you use to learn how to do it?
I just got on there and did it.
Really?
Things can be user friendly enough that, if it says add or drag, file here, you just do that thing.
Oh,
But that was a good breaking me into doing anything that's public other than just teaching.
right. Yeah, the bird rescue, I ended up feeling really guilty about because, me and my family had been to see the tall ships that they had that came one weekend. And the owner of that rescue was walking around with a parrot on his shoulder, which I was like, oh my gosh, because I know you love parrots. You had Bromley already. And I thought, this is so cool. I wish you were here. But, anyways, I ended up talking to him, and he was basically telling me about his rescue. And then I found out that, he told me where it was, which was like 2 blocks from here, walking distance. And all I did was mention it to you. I think I said, oh, you have to see this place. It's a rescue, and they just have exotic birds and parrots. And from that point on, you were there every single night after you worked all day, doing your videos, cleaning cages, doing all of this work. And I did not mean for that to happen. I'm not trying to make your life difficult. And it looked like it was very, very difficult to be that committed. Whew, yeah. So
It's hard
yeah,
not to be that committed to
I have
all
to
of
be
these little
careful.
critters. I mean, you walk in, you've got these eyes on you, so hopeful.
And
Are they
everybody
gonna,
does
they're
it
gonna get
once.
pistachios, they're gonna get some snuggles or whatever they're ready to do
Wow.
socially.
That was yeah.
But you shouldn't feel guilty, because I remember that summer, I spent a lot of time on my front porch. I was writing a journal article about something or another.
Mhm.
And I had big bags of peanuts, roasted peanuts next to me. And I had squirrels coming up, and they were sitting on my feet and taking
Yeah.
peanuts. I had a chipmunk that would come over and sit on the rocking chair next to me, and fill his little face up with peanuts and then go running off.
Oh yeah.
And I was telling you, I need another kind of exotic animal. I mean, I'm taming the wildlife. I'm not sure it's good for them for me to do this, because then they're too friendly with people, and there are bad people out there.
You have some chubby little wildlife.
I had a fat squirrel. Man,
Oh
that
my
squirrel was fat.
goodness. Yeah.
She had the biggest boobies. It was not because of babies.
Yep.
But I was telling you, I needed more animals in my life. And then you show up and say, I mean, it's just down the bike path from me, or it was.
Yeah, it is. Well,
So it was like 2-3 years. I was going,
Oh,
I only went once a week at first.
yeah.
And one reason I wanted to do it, besides being able to hang out with exotic animals, was because Bromley bites me. The
Yeah.
Senegal parrot that I
Yeah.
had first, that you talked me into at the pet store, by the way,
No,
he bites me.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, I can learn how to handle birds better. But it turns out that other birds don't bite me. It's just Bromley. It's not how I handle them.
I know. Bromley's a booger. I think it's his size compared to your Sasquatch. What is he again? An
He's
Amazon?
an Amazon.
Yeah, and he loves you. Oh my gosh, he's like a big cuddle bird to you.
He never bites me, no matter what I do to him. It's fine. But that was one of the big experiences of my life working in that facility. I started going, remember the facility owner went into the hospital with a heart attack.
Yep.
So I was going in every night to make sure everybody was fed and watered.
Mm-hmm.
And the cages weren't too bad.
Right.
And then I was training them. It took me a while to figure out what I could use to train them, because some of them wouldn't even come to the front of the cages.
Oh yeah. And if they did, they were going to bite you.
Huh?
And if they did, some of them were ready to bite you.
Right. But you don't ever really, other than Bromley, have to be bitten by a bird if you make the training really slow. Right. You have to find something they want. It turned out for every bird in the facility except this little bird named Floyd, a pistachio was the best training reinforcer. Wow. Mm-hmm. And so you get them to take pistachios from your hands through the cage bars, and then through the open cage door. And then ultimately what you want them to do is to step up on your arm if it's a big bird, or onto your finger if it's a little bird. Mm-hmm. And then you want them to come out to the other volunteers. And then the ones you trust, and there's some I did not. Right. And then you want them to come out to perfect strangers so that the strangers will adopt them. That's what those YouTube videos were all about, showing people how to train birds, even though I was just learning how to do it, but also getting people to come in and adopt. Yeah. And then the facility was going to be closed down. And so I had to quit, because once we got all but a very few birds adopted, and those ones were going to be safe, I had to quit because I had issues with the owner. Right. And but I knew that the birds were safe. But it's a commitment. You can't some of us can't walk in there and not,
Yeah. Commit. Yeah. Well,
yeah,
that's what you are. Yeah.
little ones who need you.
I know.
For some people, that's children. For me, it's anything non-human, I guess.
Yeah.
But I wonder if a worm needed me, would I devote my
Probably.
life to it? I don't know.
No, I think once you committed to something, it doesn't matter what it is. Yeah.
I had a pet worm as a child. I was very fond of it.
Did you really?
I did.
How cute. I
I
had a
think his
June
name was
bug.
Horace.
I had a June bug that, yeah, I don't like talking about my little June bug pet.
I think my mother made me dump my worm out in the
Oh, yeah.
ground. He he was in a jar in the milk pail, in the where they left the milk in the front yard.
Right,
And
right.
after a couple of weeks, she made me let him free.
Aw.
I don't know that a worm really cares about freedom, if you want to know the God's honest truth.
I don't think so. I don't know. I don't know.
It was a perfectly happy little worm.
Yeah, they don't really travel unless probably they run out of food or whatever. I have no idea.
Yep.
But
So
I know in regards to June bugs, Dad told me that they used to tie a string. Don't do it to their leg and
my
then
mother did that when she was
well,
little.
I will, yeah, that was, yeah.
That's cruel. You don't do
I
that.
know. And when you're little, you don't have that much, is it dexterity in your hands anyways? I don't even want to talk about it. Oh my God.
Let's
Okay.
not. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, sorry. Boop. Beep.
Yeah.
Oh, so anyway,
So
okay.
let's change topic.
Yes.
We are going to end up doing a podcast with videos because you want to explain why?
Yes,
Puppy,
because
puppy.
we are going to have a new star in your life.
I know her name will be, or is, she's already born,
Yes.
Anastasia. She's Irish Wolfhound puppy.
Yep.
I can't talk about it. I think I'll cry still. My
Yeah.
Haney Irish Wolfhound died.
But Anastasia was born on the exact same day. Of course, she's 2,500 miles away in Oklahoma right now, but in a few weeks, she's going to be back in your life.
And she has the exact same expression in her eyes that my Haney
Oh,
had.
yeah.
So, and I personally believe in reincarnation, if you want to know the truth.
As do I.
So we're hoping, but
yeah,
we're going to be videotaping Anastasia and ultimately talking about Irish Wolfhounds again.
Yay. We actually have some video footage at this point because the breeder has been sending you clips of her as she's getting bigger every week.
I know.
Yay. And
I'll have to ask her permission to use them.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. And isn't it, she's the only one I ever hear being vocal.
Well, actually, the last video, there were a couple of puppies whining.
Were there?
Yeah. And this is interesting because it's in contrast to Haney, who barked 3 times in her whole life.
I know. It was very, I'd really only heard her bark one out of those 3 times.
I think the puppy's whining because she wants her mom or me. She's just not sure what, she doesn't know it yet, but she feels something missing.
She is so cute. And it's hard to believe how fast they grow because right now she's still that little chunky fat belly puppy, with the soft hair. And by the time you get her, which is only in a couple weeks, and she'll be a little over 8 weeks old, if that, she's going to be lanky.
Haney was lanky when I got her.
Yes, she was. I remember.
Yeah, my Haney.
That is going to be a fun YouTube video with,
It'll take at least a year to compile all the videos.
Uh-huh.
But losing Haney was one of the greatest tragedies of my life. The thing that hurt most, more than divorce.
That was horrible.
More than anything ever. Almost.
You and Haney had a really deep relationship. And I'm not that aware of certain things, but when you lost Haney, it was like, we were talking about it. It was almost like, half of you isn't there, almost like a couple kind of situation. It was horrible.
Oh, yeah. I've been having dreams about her, only the one I had most recently that I remember, she was not quite full grown. So she was sort of an Anastasia Haney mix.
Yeah.
And we were walking across, I was walking across the yard following this cat that shouldn't have been in my yard because I have birds and squirrels, rabbits. But I was just following it. And I looked down and there's Haney down next to my leg. And I look at her and we exchanged looks.
Uh-huh.
And I said, "Oh, you're here." And
Uh,
she says, with her expression, not with words,
right.
"Yeah, why
What
shouldn't I be?" Yeah. Want to
Yeah,
make something of it?
I know, right? Haney did get, I saw a lot of that side of her where she's looking at me like, yeah, are you stupid?
She can cop an attitude, and I loved her for it.
I know, she was, okay.
So
Yeah.
when are we going to do a video of your min pin, Phoebe?
Oh, good Lord.
Think you could put together some videos so that we can
I
talk about her in
probably,
depth?
yeah, I have a lot of videos right now because I got Phoebe when she was probably around 9, or no, she was 8 weeks. And Samson, I have his baby videos. When we got him, he was 8 weeks, but he's a year older than Phoebe. So I've got a lot of video where Samson, as a 1-year-old, was tormenting, which, I don't think he was doing anything wrong. It's just Phoebe has that personality where it's wrong. So she, tons of videos of them growing up together. And you know what? They haven't changed. They still. So yeah, that'd be great. And then I could put some more
Collect
videos.
those. And you can talk about min pins as a breed because I don't really know much about them.
Oh, they're just a mess, apparently. And there's only like 2 or 3 breeds. If like I was looking if we had another dog, what kind of dogs would they get along with? And believe it or not, the Irish Wolfhound, because of its being so laid back, the Irish Wolfhound and maybe 1 or 2 other dogs out of all the breeds there are the ones that get along with.
Great Dane, probably.
I don't know. Maybe. It's just ridiculous. This little Phoebe.
Yeah, well, let's do a video of her. So
yeah.
Eventually, not always, I kind of like our thumbnail image on our YouTubes, but eventually we'll have some videos. And yet I don't know that we're going to ever have videos of us talking. I want my anonymity.
I like it. But, because I make all these funny faces when I talk, I've noticed. My daughter, my oldest, when she was doing her undergrad, she recorded me on an interview. And when I looked at it, oh my gosh, my hands are doing this, that, and the other. I'm making all these faces. My head's moving. It's like, gee whiz. So, yeah, and I'm still doing that. Thank God I'm not being recorded right now.
You are being recorded right now?
Well, you know what I mean.
Oh, your face isn't. Well, right. I think when I teach, until I had to wear a mask, and now I feel restricted, but I'm glad to be restricted in COVID. But I bounce around, I wave my arms. I don't even, I'll find myself on one side of the auditorium, and then a few moments later, I'm on the other side of the auditorium, and I don't even remember how I got there.
Wow.
I don't know if I want my image on YouTube.
Oh my gosh, could you imagine the 2 of us next to each other with all the movements we might possibly make at the same time? I would hate to watch us.
And then people could recognize us too, and that I wouldn't like.
Yes.
Crime Weekly shows Stephanie Harlow and Derek Levasseur talking. But yeah, and I enjoy it more than the podcast, to be honest.
I think that I do enjoy watching, the people behind the voices, but because I've already listened, I cannot wait until they come out with, because what they do is they put it on the audio or on the podcast, and then that's on what, Fridays, and then the following Wednesday, it's available on YouTube. Is it Wednesday and Friday? I think so.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah. I cannot wait to watch, I don't like to listen to it and then hear it again. I'd like to hear new things, but if I could wait until they do the video and just listen to the video or watch the video, that would be good. But I'm still doing the audio first, and then I missed the video.
Yeah. Before we started doing our own podcast, inspiration due to Crime Weekly, probably. Mm-hmm. I used to listen to their podcast, and then I would watch it on YouTube.
So you did both, yeah? Which I do. because they talk about during their podcast, they say, and if you're watching this on YouTube, you can see the map of this or the photo of this or the, whatever it is. So sometimes I'll pop on there just so I can see the map or the GPS locations that they were showing and how it worked, that kind of stuff. But I don't
Yeah.
do it regularly. But you're a true fan if you watch both. That's good.
Yeah. Well, I
No,
did. I had time.
Crime
But
Con. Have we talked about that? Have
about
you heard
what?
about that? Crime Con. It's like Comic Con, but it's for crime.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I've
Isn't
heard
that
of it. I don't have any urge to go.
Oh, I think that's amazing that this is such a popular topic. And then it's just weird, but because I've avoided it my whole life. But they also Stephanie and Derek are going to England and doing this in the UK.
I know.
Crazy,
No, we're
huh?
real fans of those two. By the way,
Wow.
Derek Lavasser won Big Brother
Oh,
without
see,
ever being nominated.
there were 40
Reason.
episodes, and you're the one who really you told me about all of this. You told me about the podcast. You actually told me about the Stephanie podcast first, then about Crime Weekly. And then, I get totally hooked into it because I used to like filter out the episodes that I listened to because I didn't think I could handle, this little kid or this college student or something happening to these people. So there was just a handful of podcasts that I could listen to. And then I slowly, after Casey Anthony, that really opened me up to other podcasts. But anyway,
There's
so
one of their episodes that I've never watched because a great date, I know about that case, that crime case.
right.
And a great dane named Bella dies. And I have never watched that because I can't watch anything bad happening to an animal. Or
Yeah.
think about it. It gets into my head and makes me unhappy.
Yeah. Well, where was I going with that on so Derek Lavasser, you had been telling me about his big brother, and he is from Rhode Island. And he won Big Brother, and he's an ex-cop detective and undercover guy. And you just intrigued me. So I ended up spending, I don't know how many hours watching. I've never seen Big Brother before in my life. Not a one, didn't like it, didn't like the idea of somebody, having videos in a house and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, 40 episodes, 40 episodes. And I watched every one of them. Oh,
it would be horrifying to have to experience it. But he was an undercover detective. I'm not one of his biggest fans, to be honest. I like him.
right.
I love that he's respectful of Stephanie Harlow, a woman.
Yeah.
I mean, was an undercover detective and he's interested in forensics, which I love. The reason I like true crime, I don't like hearing about all this bad stuff
Either.
but I like deep dives into the details of a situation. And there aren't enough history documentaries or documentaries about, I don't know, Wall Street. Once you listen to all those or watch them on Netflix and Amazon, this is comparable. This is a way of learning something factual, and sometimes it's satisfying because the bad guy gets caught. And that's always a lovely feeling because there have been too many situations where there was injustice in my life that never got resolved. So when, mind you, someone gets killed, it's worse than one of my situations. But yeah, I like seeing the bad guy go down.
I have learned, which I don't know if it's good or not, but I like seeing the bad guy go down. But then I'm, because the way Stephanie does it is she really, gets, you feel like the victim, and she really, and it's a sad afterward. It's like, I'm so glad this, person has been caught. But then I'm like, why does that person even exist? And dang, I really miss this person who I never knew. It's like, it's so, this is not a promotion for Crime Weekly, I just have to say. But we like it a lot.
Nor is it for Buzzsprout. It's kind of a review of Buzzsprout.
Yeah. Oh, well, Buzzsprout makes it happen with us. So I have to close these.
But then there's Audacity and Otter.
Yeah.
it could be helpful to someone or talk, it'd be fun to talk someone else into doing a podcast.
Just try it. Yeah, I'd love to. We could support them. We could talk.
Yeah,
We could watch them and everything else. I think that'd be
they can
great.
link to us.
Yeah, I would
So
love to hear other podcasts that, you know, I mean, there's
other
zillion
people
of them
that
out
are
there.
nervous about doing it and how they
Yeah,
overcame that.
and yeah, exactly. That'd be great.
So in the future, it doesn't sound like we're going to ever show our faces. Um, there's a podcast that I've been enjoying lately called Illuminati. It's Naughtii,
Uh-huh.
Illuminati. And she shows herself as a cartoon. She's kind of
Oh,
this
yeah.
purple figure with a triangle for a head. I enjoy it because what she does is she does deep dives, and lots of details, lots of research into it. And
What
she
is it
talks
called?
about corporations
Oh, okay. Corporate.
and those multi-level MLM companies
Up. Yep. Yep.
like Lularu, which I learned about from her. Or
Oh, yeah. I listened to that. I think it was an audiobook or a podcast. I can't remember. Yeah, that was or no, it was not an audiobook or a podcast. It was on like Netflix or something or Prime Video or something like that. Yeah. Yep.
so
LuLaRoe.
I, I
Mm.
well, she did one on Disney. She's done it on Dr. Phil, Dr. Oz.
Really?
Yeah, she either goes after it's neutral, but these companies have done bad things.
How
And Dr. Phil is not perfect. I'll let you know.
about that?
So I like it because it's somebody's done research and is teaching me about something. And
Yeah.
true crime does that for me.
Right.
But
Right.
do we want to have cartoon figures of ourselves on our podcasts?
Well,
I mean, on our YouTube.
yeah. So the Illuminati, does she do like the podcast and the YouTube or just YouTube?
Looks like she just does YouTube, but the image is a cartoon figure that it's like there are several images. Some of them have hearts around the head. So whenever she says she loves something, that one appears. And it
Okay.
just is always moving. I don't
Oh,
know. I don't
huh.
know if I want
I'll
a
have to check it
cartoon
out.
of
Yeah.
us.
Well, remember those pictures or that filter? I had downloaded the app that changes your image into a cartoon image. And yours wasn't that much. It was really good, actually. But anyways, I sent you a picture of it.
Can I turn myself into a puppy?
Yeah, actually, you can. They have filters for that, but it just puts a cute little puppy nose and ears on, I think.
Nah, no, I want to
I like
look like a
playing
puppy.
with those. Yeah, no, well, actually, there was an app I used one time because my son went through this phase of like thinking he was a cat, but really he was, I mean, he just loved our cat so much. He wanted to be a cat. And, he went so far as to say he had night vision and everything about a cat he was claiming. So I like what is it where you impose, is it when you put one picture on top of another? So it was some app that allowed you to do that.
Superimpose.
Superimpose, that's right. So I took Matilda, our cat's picture, and I superimposed it on top of his picture and kind of faded here and there, and he just loved it. He was young, but he just loved it because it looked like he was a cat.
That's so funny because when I was little on Halloween, when you dress up,
Yep.
every year, the only thing I wanted to be was a black cat.
Wow.
Even as an adult, I was always a black cat. But you pin that tail on me, on my
Uh-huh.
behind, and
Yeah.
I felt so good. It was like I should have a very long tail back there. I've always felt that having a cat tail it feels normal.
See,
I
I
think your child takes after me a little too much.
Oh, I know. I mean, I really didn't even make that connection about the cat thing, but he was totally into being a cat. Hmm.
I think it's a very good thing to be into. But I hope he stopped that before he went to school, right?
Oh, yeah. It was about that time he did. Yep.
I don't want him bullied. But
No.
whatever we do in terms of videos, we are going to stay anonymous, you think?
Yeah, I think so. Unless I don't know. I can never predict. And it could be that we become very comfortable with this, which, you never know. I know that, yeah, I don't know. You know what? You asked me if you would have asked me this 2 months ago, I'd say absolutely. But because time changes things. So who knows? I'd
Well,
like, I have no idea.
I
Because
think thinking back to what was our last podcast? Was that the we read
that,
Winnie the Pooh?
no, I think we did one after that, didn't we? Or no? No, we did Haney.
Okay, before the one on Living with Irish Wolfhound,
Yeah.
we did one where Winnie the Pooh just
Right.
came out of Disney's copyright,
Yep.
and so you could finally read it aloud and publish it on a podcast.
Oh, right,
So
right.
we read Winnie the Pooh, and I thought you were wonderful. I thought, particularly when you had to sing some of
Lord.
the
And you know
charming
what?
little Winnie the Pooh songs, you would never have done that if you weren't anonymous.
I certainly would not have. So
Made
I
me
did
snort.
oh, that was funny. But you know what? I had no idea that's what your surprise was. Because remember, you said that you have a surprise topic, and if I'm up for it, and it's like, yeah, sure. Which, I say, yeah, sure, but inside I'm thinking, oh my God, what in the heck? But I do trust you. So anyway,
It was
yeah,
fun. That may have been the most fun.
that was fun. And
And you were
it was,
surprised that you were reading along, and then you found out that Winnie the Pooh sings these words. You
oh
were willing
yeah,
to do it.
yeah.
I
Oh
was
gosh.
cracking up in the background.
You're right. I would not have done that.
Not unless we're anonymous.
Yeah, exactly.
We
But it
would
was
lose
nice.
our spontaneity.
Yes, I think so. Because I think that's part of it's fun. That's what makes it fun, I think. I don't, yeah.
I know it's not work. It's just like having a phone call with you that goes on a little bit longer than it should.
Has really good clarity. I don't have any kind of breaking up on my end. I hate it when that happens.
So this is a relatively inexpensive way to have some fun. I mean, bare minimum, you're paying $16 for Buzzsprout.
Yeah.
Once a month.
I like you usually include me in on your fun, like with Clay when we were doing the ceramics. Yeah, you were like, I like doing this. Come on.
I know. Then it was basket weaving.
Oh yes.
You now have all the basket weaving supplies.
Yes, I do. And I love all these different, I didn't realize how I really like drawing and I like making baskets, although I think I had trouble getting it straight. It took me so long, so many times, so many tries to get it right. And it was so annoying. So I haven't totally embraced that yet. But guess what? What ends up happening with me is a year from now or 2 months from now, I'll be like, oh, let me do this. And then I love it. And I'm doing it and I can't stop.
See, I've been taking care of my bucket list. I mean, getting the Irish Wolfhound the first time was something I wanted since the 1980s. But I got a spinning wheel and I love spinning, but I don't do it very often. And then I totally fell in love with pottery. Basket weaving, not a bad thing to do. I want to play a harp. And I want to learn. I want to loom, and I want to learn to weave.
Nice.
These are the remaining two things on my bucket list, but it's fun. And so podcasting is in that fun group of things to do, apparently.
Yeah, it is. It's really fun. And I like it.
When I'm retired, these podcasts could go in a direction where it's something I actually would want to listen to, which would be that, I would have time to do real research into a topic.
Yep.
Instead, I mean, yeah, it's fun just to chat. And we usually come in with something we're going to chat about, but wouldn't it be fun to have like a real dive into, the facts and,
Oh my gosh, right now in this Ukraine-Russian war and accessing the NATO website, if anybody's interested in truth and facts of what was really said, I don't know, but I'm pretty sure these documents, like the conversation between President Clinton at the time and oh gosh, who was the other one? Yeltsin and the Ukrainian president. It has been declassified and I don't know how I found it, but I found it and it's 134 pages and it's like, oh my gosh. So yeah, I can't wait. Yeah.
But I'm jealous because you do have the time right now.
Oh my gosh, it's just
Excuse me. These are
insane.
between
Well,
things.
I really don't have the time just because I spend so much time. I'm just right now I'm thinking, crap, I'm missing something. Could something have happened? Um, because the last I heard it was, I think China was saying they want to stay out of it. And they would, even though they have relationships with both the EU for trade and Putin for just, I guess, a relationship. And India, they don't want China involved in it, I think, but they are not going to stop there. Apparently, India says they don't receive a lot of the gas from or the oil from Russia, so it doesn't really make that big of a difference and blah blah blah. But anyways, yeah. And then, oh, anyway, I can't talk about this because you see how I just want to find out what is new.
Well, I could see you doing a podcast on this, and I would ask you all the right questions.
Oh, yay. Yeah. This these people. Oh my gosh, poop. You
But
know.
those
uh,
are the kinds of podcasts that I actually enjoy listening to.
Yeah, I think I would like because there was something I watched was Putin, one of these news, they do documentaries and stuff, but anyways, it was how he was growing up or what he went through growing up to understand, in order to understand where you are, you have to understand where you've been kind of thing. And he was bullied and, you know, so he had some issues. But anyway, that does
I
no
don't care if he
excuse.
was bullied. He's being
I
bullied now.
know.
He's a murderer.
Well, basically, that's
And he's a
probably
weenie. Putin
he's
is a weenie.
yes, he is. And so is that mercenary leader. I can't stand
Oh,
him. Oh my
yeah.
God.
Well,
Okay, yeah, let's not talk about this now because you know what?
that's another podcast. But you know what I mean by a deep dive at this point
Yeah,
to really
definitely.
get into a topic and
Yeah.
have time to put it together so that you not only have a timeline, you've got all the interesting fact. One of the authors that I enjoy, and I probably shouldn't, is Anne Rule. And that's
Yep.
how I got turned on to true crime was her books are so full of the details.
Yeah. See
And
that
then
I would think, in my opinion, because the reason why I started learning about this was because it was happening current events. I've avoided current events my whole life. So I know nothing about, I was alive during the majority of what's been going on. So for myself, I started by just breaking it down and simplifying and what happened when making the timeline and stuff. And that was what I thought would be great for a podcast because I'm sure I'm not unique in that your life gets so busy or whatever that, you just live, you don't pay attention to everything else in politics if that's not what you're into. So, I thought it would be, if we do a podcast, it would be nice to do like a general kind of catch up, with what's happened. And, for people like me, basically, that just
the
didn't pay
Ukraine,
attention. Yeah. Well,
yeah,
just the Soviet Union to Russia to the Ukraine, Russia to the EU, Ukraine, Russia, China. Now it's China, India, EU, UK, Russia, United States, of course, all the time. But anyways,
I,
I like the simplification of the history there.
I watched because of all this. I watched like a 6 hour history of Russia.
Yep. With the
And the
Roman.
whole thing was this Russian leader invaded, over here and killed all these people. And then, you have this other Russian leader who's killing all these other people. It's just like
Oh,
slaughter after slaughter. I mean, I'm not saying anything bad about Russian people. I mean,
no,
I
it's
know
not.
that they're out there protesting the war. Good for
Yeah.
you.
And
And it's
mostly it is
dangerous for them to do that.
mm-hmm.
But
It really
I
is.
don't like that, the history. I mean,
Right.
not
Because the
perfect in the
people,
US, but I
no, it
think there are
isn't. It's just
fewer.
bad.
I mean, you look at how the indigenous people were treated, you look at slavery, you look at
That's
we're
exactly,
not that good, but
you
not
definitely,
quite.
no,
Yeah.
right. Well, I don't know because people, have brought up the whole issue with us taking all the land. People from other countries, we're not viewed as this wonderful country, even though, I mean, I'm proud to have been born here, but that's all I can say. And that's all any of us can say, unless you're an immigrant, is, and who decides where you're born? You know what I mean? But anyway, oh my, this is totally off topic, isn't it?
Well, I think in the US, there are some things to be proud of, one of which was the fact that power until January 6th, power was handed off to the next leader without violence for so many years. And we have recovered from that January 6th event, in my view, for the most part. We found a nonviolent way for power to be transferred.
Right.
And that's huge.
Yes.
And it worked for a very long time, and it's going to work again, I think.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I think that he who shall not be named will not will not go back into office.
Are we going to go there?
No, not in this
Yeah,
episode.
let's try not to.
Oh,
Anyway, so yeah, we don't know what we're doing with this podcast. We just know
I don't
that these are the software platforms that make it easy, particularly Buzzsprout.
yeah.
When I decided, I'd been playing with the idea for over a year of doing it, and I just couldn't make myself do it until I got you involved. And I'm, as far as I'm concerned, particularly with the Winnie the Pooh book, you've got a great voice. You're the likable one of us too, and I'm going to exploit you.
No.
Your positive attributes as much as I can.
Please. No, this is not true. See, you're the one actually who has given yourself to all of these students that basically just love you. You teach, I mean.
But I didn't teach. I'm sorry. You said teached. You teach.
Oh, no, I had.
And I'm a teacher, so I can't let that one slide.
No, I didn't. I had a mint and I was actually putting it on the other side of my mouth and it hit my tongue. So it made that sound. So, yeah. My head's bouncing all over the place. What the heck? But, yeah. So.
Well, that's students. I mean, it's easy. I feel protective of students the same way I do about puppies and kittens, to be honest. Aww. And so it's not, you're helping them. It's not just the basic personality quality of being likable. Something that you have to the max. You irritate me because you're so charming sometimes. I remember you'd come into the house when Daddy was visiting, and you would come into the house, you'd be like 2 hours late, but all that was forgotten because you'd come in with this vivaciously told story, and Daddy would be totally fascinated. And
I love that.
Meanwhile, I'm the one who cooked dinner. So
yeah, no, I just loved him. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah. But anyway, I love that quality about you. And I really appreciate you being willing to do this, even though you were nervous at first.
As long as you don't get me talking about mini blinds.
God, yes. Oh, mini blind stories.
Oh, God, no mini blinds. Yeah. Holy crap. I irritated myself on that one. Who does that?
I don't know, what, 6 hours of mini blinds?
Oh, I couldn't get off of it. Yeah, I was so annoyed. Can't start.
So we'll try not to be annoying in our podcasts.
Right. Yes. And
okay.
God for the ability to edit and cut. So just in case, I can't help myself, Oh,
well, I'm not exactly one who stays off.
Yeah, I do know that
bad topics.
When I rant about things that I'm passionate about, sometimes I say such inappropriate things that I'm not, I still have that filter while we're podcasting, although I can feel it getting a little loose. I might need to tighten it up a bit again. I felt just talking about what we were talking about, I felt myself getting passionate. So
yeah, we'll try to talk about things that we're not passionate about.
There we go. That's safe.
There's a solution.
Oh yeah, definitely.
On that note, would you like to say goodbye?
Sure. Well, yes, I would like to say goodbye. I'm gonna have supper. What about you?
Yeah, I think I will have some spaghetti with mushrooms and broccoli.
That sounds good. Yay. Okay.
I need to bake bread too.
Oh gosh, yes. Oh. Okay.
Anyway, I love you. I'll talk to you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye.